your folks calling into your show talking football are more depressed about the Giants or the Jets? What do you got?
I think they're very nervous about the Jets because you just don't know what's going to come out of Rodgers' mouth, and they're worried.
How is that playing in New York?
Not playing great.
Really?
Not playing great. So he says some odd things, and and it's like the Jets let him do whatever he wants. He pretty much owns the team. He and Woody Johnson own the team. I think Johnson has adopted Aaron Rodgers.
Maybe so.
Yeah. But, he's a great player, so we'll see. But I think the Jets are going to be okay. The Giants, it's a question mark. Who's going to be their quarterback? How's Daniel Jones going to play?
Well, they made it sound like Jones has a shot to play week 1 now.
Yeah. I think that's the plan. And when you look at the fact, everybody goes, he's overpaid. Well, he's middle of the road now.
He is.
At $40 million. So, I mean, they should be rooting for him to be good because they still have 2 more years. I know they're not guaranteed, but if the Giants want it to be, they'll be guaranteed, and he'd be a very reasonable quarterback.
Brian Burns is going to be an outstanding addition. Mm-hmm. Like him and Kayvon Thibodeau, they're going to hope to, I imagine, just get a couple touchdowns out of their offense.
Right.
And maybe get something out of their defense to put a point on the board, whether it's good field position for more field goals or an easier touchdown. That might be their way of trying to win football games. But Daniel Jones, man, against the Vikings in that wild card playoff game, he looked like Kaepernick. He was just running and throwing and unstoppable, but he had Saquon at his side.
He teases you. That's what's frustrating because you see little glimpses, and then there's 5 or 6 games you go, what?
Right.
What's going on?
Right. So, but Rodgers is you say.
Rodgers. I mean, we could talk Rodgers forever. He goes on. He goes on with McAfee for an hour, and then he says stuff, and then we play the cuts. I mean, it's almost like giving us a show every Tuesday. But I wonder, without him being injured this year, if he's going to be as chatty about other things.
You're talking about politics. Well, it's a presidential election year. I don't know how, but he also said that anything that has nothing to do with football needs to get out of this building because he was talking about at the end of last year, I believe, tiptoeing around, which is not really his style, but of what was going on with Zach Wilson.
Right.
That there was a lot of crazy stuff that happened with Zach. With Zach being told something, Zach being told to be putting in a certain position offensively that wasn't suitable for him, and then Zach being asked to get back out there, which is nuts.
Right.
That they asked him to get back out there. I guess they were out of options.
Yeah, absolutely.
But clearly, I mean, if you tell a guy basically you're not going to be with us next year, why ask him to go out there with 2 weeks to go so you can get hurt? Before we were giving you the exit visas you were asking for. It was a bad look
for both sides.
So I think he was saying something without saying something, but it also doesn't fit the narrative of I can go on any podcast talking about things that might be politically difficult for some on the other side of the aisle in the fan base to swallow, and then show up at work and saying root for me. That's the conundrum in New York City.
It is odd. It is odd, and he does say things that probably. But you've been around sports fans forever, and you're a sports fan. They don't care what he does off the field.
We just win
as long as he plays great. And I actually have spoken to Robert Saleh off the air. He goes, "This stuff that you think is a distraction doesn't get through the walls. Players don't care about that stuff.
Right?
They love this guy as a teammate, and they do." Right. He's a great teammate.
I think he was voted the leader or something like that,
or
whatever the
so if he wants to
in-house award
opine
was.
on vaccines and darkness retreat, they don't care. Players don't care, and that's all that matters. And really, sometimes fans root for the worst person in the world. I'm not saying that that's Aaron,
right?
But they'll root for the worst person in the world as long as he produces for their team. So I don't think the fans, even though they might be on the other side of what they believe is a political spectrum, that doesn't bother them as long as he plays.
It's like Seinfeld saying they root for laundry.
Yeah, they do. Never truer word spoken.
They root for the laundry. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.